Hey everybody, it's Dave of the Superplex Brothers, and it's once again time for another Top 10. This time it's Pokemon from Generation 2, and of course, as you may know, it is Pokemon Month over on the Superplex Bros. I did an article version of this, Matt did one as well, he also did a video version. Before I get into the actual meat of the video, I'm going to throw a little disclaimer that when it came to Generation 2, I wasn't quite as attached to the Pokemon themselves, so it was a lot harder for me to come up with this list. I did play the games when I was younger, but the Pokemon themselves, I didn't really remember all that much how many of them I liked and didn't like, that I actually went through the entire Johto list to, figure out which ones I liked. So anyway, without further ado, let's get to the actual countdown. Number 10! What the hell is this thing? It looks like a giant butt plug. Whenever I use this thing, I always name it Anal Justice, because that's precisely what this thing delivers. The unique thing about Wobbuffet is that it can only use counter-based moves, which is good because this thing's stats aren't all that great, other than HP. Thankfully, counter moves don't really rely on actual stats, they usually do a set amount of damage. So it works out. If this thing had better defenses though, it would probably be higher on the list. Number 9! You guys know by now that I love to play defensively. Well, there isn't a single Pokemon in any generation that is more defensive than Shuckle. That's all it's good for. In attack, HP, special attack, and speed, this thing is utterly pathetic, with base stats of 20, 10, 10, and 5 respectively. Well, what about its defensive stats? 230. Yeah, you heard that right, 230. Now, unfortunately for this thing, attacking is not much of an option. However, you do have what could possibly be one of the best stalls ever in Pokemon. This is the Pokemon you give moves like Toxic and Protect to. Giving it leftovers is also a good idea. In future generations, this thing would get Sturdy, which in Gen 5 basically guaranteed that this thing will survive any move that would have killed it in one hit. This Pokemon would also make a good candidate to give moves like Power Split so that you can leech off of the opponent's attack stats. Despite the clear limitations this thing has, there's still a fair bit you can do with it. Number 8! Donphan is the only pure ground type in Gen 2. And it's a damn fine one to boot. 120 attack and defense, it makes for a great attacker and defender. In Generation 2, its move pool could have been a lot better, but once you give this thing Earthquake and Rock Slide, this thing can wreck just about everything in its path. In future generations, it could use Seed Bomb, which is a physical grass move and good to throw at water types. Number 7. Now normally, I don't put legendary Pokemon into my favorites category, but in this one case, I'll make an exception. Ho-Oh is a phoenix. Ho-Oh literally translates to phoenix in Japanese. In my favorite anime of all time, Fist of the North Star, one of my favorite characters, Souther, is a practitioner of Nanto Hohoken, which literally translates to South Star Phoenix Fist. I'd like to imagine that if Pokemon were a thing in Fist of the North Star, Souther would probably have Ho-Oh as his starter, because he's that damn awesome. Yeah, it's a shallow reason to like a Pokemon, but it's my list, goddammit. All hail the Holy Emperor. Number 6! I'll be perfectly honest here. Until Generation 6 mechanics were a thing, I didn't give a single shit about Azumarill. Making it part fairy and giving it access to moves like Belly Drum, Aqua Jet, and Play Rough make this thing a beast. Not much else can be said other than this thing can and will fuck your day up if you aren't careful. Number 5! Houndoom is a solid mixed attacker with great typing. I also really like its design. If Hellhounds were a real thing, I'd imagine they look something like Houndoom. In Generation 6, it would get a Mega Evolution that makes it faster and gives it more special attack. Pretty solid Pokemon in all honesty. Number 4! I'm breaking another rule I set in the Generation 1 list. Normally, I hate Trade Evolution based Pokemon. But I can't lie. Kingdra is pretty awesome. It's a Water Dragon Pokemon, and that's an excellent combination. Prior to Generation 6, this thing was only weak to Dragon, with both of its types essentially negating all of their weaknesses. Its stats aren't the greatest, mostly 95s across the board, but it's usable, and having only one weakness prior to Gen 6 was a great reason to have this thing. In Generation 6, it would gain the weakness to Fairy typing. Number 3! Let's be frank, Heracross kicks all kinds of ass. It's been a powerhouse ever since its debut and only got better when it got a Mega Evolution. The only thing holding this monster back is a 4x weakness to flying types. Number 2. Fortress may not be as defensive as Shuckle, but it's basically Gen 2's Weezing, and most of the same of what I said about Weezing applies here. Being Bug Steel type, the only thing to surefire kill this thing is Fire types, which it's 4x weak against. If you can prepare for that, you pretty much have a copy of Weezing strategy I gave, and this thing will serve you well. Number 1. You take a Pokemon nobody liked in Generation 1 in Zubat, and you gave him another evolution that made him a great addition to the team. Crobat is really fast. Like, really fast. It's outspeeding most things, and it has a decent attack stat to go along with it. Between that and being capable of using various status moves quickly, yeah, I really like Crobat. When I played Pokemon Heart Gold, this thing was an extremely valuable member of my team, and has gotten me out of some pretty tight situations. I have to make him the number 1. So that's it for Generation 2. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Next time, I'm going to be doing Generation 3, which is not going to be as difficult because I have a lot of experience with Generation 3. So, and yeah, that's pretty much it. If you liked what you saw here, check out superplexbros.com. We have the forum, as I mentioned in the last video. We have all kinds of cool stuff for you guys to check out. So yeah, that's all I really have to say here. And until next time, take care.